Okay guys, so this is my account. I've been trading gold today. For this trade I wasn't actually expecting it to even buy, but because of the trend line and stuff, I was expecting that price could potentially break and make that continuation. But my only query was, this was my first tip here, as you can see, because we have a support and resistance, but on top of that my stop loss was around this region here. This was the low that was being created, and if price went underneath this low, this was my stop loss, 3998. okay, that was my stop loss. I was expecting that price could potentially push upward towards that area here of resistance, which is about let me see, it's about 32 pips. Yeah, 32, around 37 pips. Okay, it's around 37 pips. But yeah, that's it. That's how I caught this entry. Yeah, just based off the trend line. Yeah, and as you can see, the account is from 6k. Now we are now in 3k. Previously I've taken some losses on USD card. I took some losses very early in the morning actually. So if you go to USD card, let's go to USD card here. If you open chart on USD card, yeah, you see that I took some losses here. I was expecting that price could potentially make a push because we had a support and resistance at along this level. So I bought at around this area here, and I was expecting that price would potentially rise. Okay, but that didn't happen, so price ended up instead pushing lower. So I closed out early because once price invalidates my entry, I usually close. For instance, my invalidation for this entry could be if price continues to push underneath this low here. So once price pushed underneath that low, that's when I closed out most of the positions, because now it could potentially push. That means price could potentially push all the way up to this killer, and there's lots of liquidity here. Okay, there's lots of liquidity here, so many liquidity points. Okay, and price could potentially push and clear that liquidity before it makes another impulsive move upward. Because if you go to the time frame like the H4, you see that price has been pushing up. Okay, so you see that we have a bit of a push. Okay, we have a push, then we have a consolidate. Okay, you can call it a correction move, and then afterwards we have another push upward. Okay, we have another impulsive push upward, and then a corrective move. Okay, so in this kind of situation, all I'm waiting for is to catch and optimize on the next impulsive move. So for instance, how can I make money from the next impulsive move? Well, you can simply just observe from the previous moves. So if you observe, price made a rally and then made a drop. Okay, so we have to just mark out the market structure from this area. So this was the previous higher low. Okay, and then afterwards, after some few moments, price came and took out this higher low. Okay, so that means after price took out that higher low, it made a new higher high. Okay, so that means there was a shift in the market structure, which at this area is what I'm looking for, so that I can take more entries for buys. Okay, so even here, what I'm looking for is to see a shift in market structure. The first point that I saw the shift was here. We saw that price was making lower lows. Okay, so this was the previous high, lower high, and then afterwards price came and took it out. Okay, we took out the higher high, but now price is again coming underneath. So what I will do is wait for price to come above this area. Okay, and then I can take my buys. Okay, because as you have seen, price has already made the market structure shift. Okay, actually you can most other people can even say that the price made a structure shift around this area. Okay, because price was making a new lower high, and then afterwards we had that massive push upward to make a new higher high. Okay, So the structure right here is that price could potentially respect this trend line which has been formed here, and then afterwards we shall see another impulsive move to the upside. But if price doesn't respect this trend line, okay, we may see it actually now pushing all the way down. Okay, we may see another impulsive corrective move all the way down. Okay, so that's it for USD card. But for gold, we are in 3k profit. I can hold this trade maybe for some good time, because as I've been telling you guys, we already passed the impulsive move stage. Okay, so we had a massive push downward here. You can call this the corrective move, and then this was the previous high. Okay, lower high, sorry. So price already took out the previous lower high, which means that there's a likelihood for price to push all the way, okay, to the top. We can have a move to push all the way to the top and create a new higher high. Okay, so this was the first take profit, and then this will be the second take profit. Okay, so price could potentially push and create a new higher high. So because of that, I would be holding this trade a little bit longer than usual. But yeah, that's it for this trade, guys. That's it for this trade. I'll be holding it until we make a new higher high. Okay, but since the account is even small, I can even close. If I had two positions, I would have closed, but since it's only one position, all I can do is I can move my stop loss. Okay, so all I'm going to do right now, I'll move my stop loss to this area here. Okay, just a bit underneath, because if price comes underneath this area, I don't think we shall be valid for another trade. Okay, so it will be for 40.36. that would be my stop loss. So we have here 40.36. That's the first invalidation. If price goes underneath that level, I won't be able to hold the entry. Okay, and for people who want to be trading safely, you can simply just exit this trade, because after all, you know that price is likely to first of all break this trend line before it has any potential to push up. Okay, so for people who know how to trade, you can simply just hold your trade. The first tip you could be here. Okay, you can simply just hold your trade until price comes to that area. Okay, that is the first tip. For people who know how to trade trend lines, that's the first tip. And if price is able to break out of this trend line, let me first zoom in. So if price is able to break out of this trend line, so if we have something like this, price breaks out of the trend line. Okay, let me just use another. If price breaks out, okay, let me close this. Okay, so if price is able to break out of this trend line by any chance, if price comes and breaks out of this trend line, all you have to do is simply wait for price maybe to push back a bit for a retest. Okay, and then afterwards it will make a continuation upward. Okay, but if price is unable to break this area, then that means that we may be in a big consolidation for the next coming, a big downtrend, sorry, for the next coming weeks. Okay, because as I've been telling you, gold has lots of liquidity also at the bottom here. This was the first area of liquidity. We see all these consolidations. There are lots of orders situated underneath that area. So if price is unable to break through this trend line, we may see a potential for price to push even lower to those liquidity points. Okay, but yeah, that's it for it, guys. Today I've been explaining a bit. I'm sorry I haven't been posting a lot, because I'm still practicing as well as trying to make videos, so it's not easy for me to also edit most of the content, but I'm trying my level best to just show you how I trade. And yeah, I'll be seeing you soon. But then also, yeah, I'm going to be also making a new challenge. So for small accounts, people who have small accounts, let's say $10, $20, $30, 100, less than $100. Okay, we are going to be making a challenge together, whereby I grow the small account and showing you exactly what it takes to trade small accounts. Not flipping in just a single day, but I will be showing you exactly the steps that you can take if you're a low risk trader to grow a small account. Okay, and then for people who want to be trading with me, I'll be launching a Telegram channel where I will be dropping most of these setups. And if you have a small account, as I've been telling you, before the end of this week, today is when, let me see, today could I think by Saturday this week I'll be posting another video explaining most of these trendline strategies and how we can benefit from them. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. As I've been telling you, I'll be posting you guys soon. If you observe from last 3 months, okay, let's go to last 3 months. So the profit for the last 3 months so far, okay, we are moving. Okay, so if you go to the last 3 months, you see that I've made a profit of just let me first go to, is it 5k? It's 6k. Let's go to last month, okay? Last week. My connection is a bit slow, so sorry for that. Yeah, but that's it. That's how I'm seeing the market for this. If I go to the H4, yeah, H4 is also giving me the same vibes, okay? Price could potentially either reach this trend line and start dropping, or it could break the trend line and also we have a continuation move upward. Simple as that. That's how I'll be trading gold for the next coming few hours, okay? I'll just be buying and holding, so that if price goes underneath my entry zone, I will very likely close out the trades and then look for another entry. Last month, okay, so last 3 months I think it's better. Okay, so for last 3 months, you see the deposit was 5k. We made a profit of 1.3 thousand. Okay, that's almost close to some good percentage. Okay, but of course I had some losses along the way. We had a very huge loss on USD. We had a $300 loss. That was the first big loss ever since I opened the account. Okay, so that is $300 on US. Then we had 200. This was gold, where I was losing. I got a bad setup on gold, and then I was losing almost close to 2k. Okay, and then afterwards we had another sale on gold for almost $500 in loss. Okay, yeah, and that's it currently for USD AUD. Yeah, also I lost some good cash on AUD USD, so that puts me back to almost break even on the account. But luckily for us, we have 1.3k on the account for the last 3 months. That's how we have been trading. But I know it's been a slow journey, but I shall be of course posting you guys and showing you how I trade, so that maybe it can help someone out there who is struggling with trading. Yeah, but yeah, for people who want to actually have safe trades, people who are not crazy like me, you can simply just close out most of your profits right now, because as we have seen, price is forming. We have a support and resistance along this area, so we may have another push downward before you have a continuation. So if you want to trade safe, you can simply just close out positions. If you had any entries, you can close out and then wait for price to make a pullback before you have a continuation upward. But for crazy guys like me, I'll be holding because I love the momentum. You see this push? This was a very good push from the early morning. Okay, sorry, this was a very good push in the early morning time. Very good push, momentum. Okay, and this was an H1 candle. So I'm expecting that if price is able to maintain this very momentum, we may reach at least upwards towards this trend line. Okay, and then afterwards from the trend line, we may find some resistance, maybe for a pullback and then another continuation. But probably my first tip is gonna be this trend line here. Okay, that will be my first TP, my very first TP, a trend line. And then my second TP will be the demand zone, sorry, the supply zone above.